Hey everybody, hopefully everybody is doing good. Welcome back to Easeldoesitstudio. So we have got something really cute today. Let's Resin sent me these new molds that they just came out, and wait until you see them. All right, I'm gonna set my box aside because I try to keep all my boxes for my Let's Resin molds. Look at this, guys. These are going to be so cute. All right, so look at these little dudes. I think that they're called the Grim Reaper. I'm not sure. So this one here takes 4.6 ounces of resin. This one takes 4 ounces of resin. So I like that they put them on there. And then this takes 1 ounce. So these are the little swords, or the hatchets, or whatever they're called. So we're going to get our resin mixed up, but before that, and I'm going to use the Let's Resin black epoxy resin, we are going to color these little guys, and then I will paint their details on afterwards. So I pulled out my Intense Chameleon powders, my regular Chameleon powders, and the Chameleon Flakes. So I'm hoping, I wanted to do the blue. I'm almost out of these colors. So this is the deep blue. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'll have enough. So I'm going to do one in the Intense, in the blue. I think I'm going to do this guy in the blue. And then let's see. We have violet. We have the regular blue, which maybe we'll do 2 in the blue and that. Yeah, let's do that. That way we can see the difference between the Intense Chameleon powder and the Chameleon Flakes. Now they do have 2 different Chameleon Flakes. These are the dark ones. These are the light ones. I love these guys. These are amazing. They have so much sparkle in them. So, but because it's Halloween, we want them to be more on the dark side. So those are the 2 colors we're going to pick. So I can put these away because I'm not going to need those. And I'm going to use my big fluffy brush. So now I'm contemplating what I'm going to do with these. I might do the handles in one color and I think we're going to do the chrome, the metallic on these, on the sword part. So I'll think of that while I'm doing these. All right, so I'm going to do this one in the Intense deep blue. I love that deep blue. It is so pretty. And they seem pretty sturdy. I will probably end up propping them up though. All right, so, and this brush is nice and long. I got this in Happy Mail, and I love this brush. I'm gonna have to look up the company so I can get the link for you guys. So when we're just doing these all like the same color, but I do want to make sure that I get his whole face covered, like behind his eyes and stuff. And then we will finish them off after, once they come out. And I will run this, the epoxy, once I get it mixed up through the Resiners debubbler. And I do have discount codes in the links below for any of their product. So if you're going to get something, make sure you take advantage of that discount code. All right, so I'm just kind of brushing it out. Any of the extra. So we will have a few little spots that we are going to have to make sure that we get the bubbles out of. So once we pour that, I will show you that. Where is my switching sponge? Not that it's going to make much of a difference because we're using blue anyways, but I want to give it a good comparison. So that is the Intense Deep Blue. So we're going to put that there. And then we're going to use the Flakes. And I found that using the Flakes work better if you pick them up with tweezers and dump them in and then smush them around, because these things fly everywhere. So I'm just trying to get it in so I know that I have all that detailed area covered. All right, so let's, and when you're doing these flakes, make sure that you burnish them in really, really good. When I first started, that was my biggest problem, is I just rub them on and not burnish them. And if you do that, you're gonna see the flakes. And if you burnish them in, you're gonna have a smooth finish. And this one shifts from blue to purple. And I know you can't see what I'm doing. I can't even see what I'm doing. But see right here, see the difference when you burnish them? That's what you want the inside of your mold to look like. So I'm probably gonna put some more in. And you know what I think I'm gonna do? I've seen everybody using the glove, like doing it on a gloved finger. I'm gonna see if that will work for these as well, because these molds are really deep and I want to make sure that I have enough of this in there. All right, so, and that way I can make sure that I get all those little nooks and crannies, hopefully. Oh, but I got flakes flying everywhere, guys. So I don't know if this works with the flakes. Let me find a spot here that it does, but I think you need that pressure. And it's just so hard to see. All right, so we got a whole bunch of powder down on the bottom. So I'm just gonna, we're definitely gonna have to use our, a little vacuum here. We'll take out Susie Bug. All right, so I'm just kind of taking that extra powder and really trying to go over it because I can't tell if they're burnished good. Trying to save my extra flakes. All right, I think I got it. Like I said, it's really hard to see with these flakes. I should have picked an easier glitter. And I'm just blowing out the excess. Look how pretty that looks on my glove. So that's why you want to back these with black, because you're going to get the best outcome. All right. Wipe my brush down. Let me get Susie Bug out. All right. So I'm going to take this glove off for right now. And I'm going to grab the silver, and I think I'm going to do the champagne. And I think the champagne is in the regular Chameleons. It's mint, it's golden, and that's olive. All right, one of these has champagne as a color. That's fuchsia. This is the chrome ones. Galaxy Champagne. Okay. I already had it out. That's why I couldn't find it. So I have got my silver and this is the that's the champagne. So we're going to do the stick in the champagne, but let me get a cotton Q-tip here and all right. So I'm going to get a different brush and I'm going to use this angled brush for the sticks. And there's a little bit of that silver, but that's okay. And make sure you get your sides. And we're gonna pour all of the these swords, because I can use them in other projects. Or if, you know, I'm going to make more sets of these, then I'll already have these done. So I'm going to mix up 10 ounces just to be on the safe side, which will be 5 ounces of A and 5 ounces of B. And again, you want to burnish these in good too. And I'll probably take that fluffy brush and go over everything after, just to make sure that I have no brush marks. So I'm definitely going to get some different soft brushes, especially for like just for the mica powders. So we have different sizes, different, you know, shapes. And I'm just trying to fade where it goes into the blade part. All right. And then I just want to make sure this is clean. And there's a little bit of this in there. I'm not even going to worry about it. It'll just look like specks on the blade. I think it will give a little bit of character to it. Gosh, I've got this everywhere. Now, I was impressed the first time that I painted this in a mold, how gorgeous it looked. So I'm glad I have something else that I want to make silver so that we can really see that beautiful chrome. And I got one more over here. I almost forgot it. So whatever color touches your silicone first is what's going to show on the finished piece. So always remember that. If you don't want, like if you didn't want any little speckles, then you would have had to clean your mold off. But because it's a Halloween project, I don't mind if it has, you know, a few little extra something on the blade, because it's just going to add to the piece. I'm going to bang that over my trash can. Look at my hands. Let me get a baby wipe out here. I'll get two because I'm already going to tell that it's going to be a mess. Excuse me. So I am just going to try and wipe some of this excess off. All right, so we've wiped off and blew off the excess. I'm just going to take this soft brush and kind of go over the whole thing. Just, I don't want brush marks. I want it to look like a piece of metal. All right. So let me get my resin. Let me get that all mixed up and run through the debubbler, and then we will be back and we will get these little babies all poured. So yeah, I think we're going to definitely have to prop them up. Yeah, I think so. Okay, I will be right back, guys. All right, I figured I would just come back and while I'm mixing this. So those are the of you that are new. So what I did is I put 5 ounces of B, which is the clear. That one's clear, in a cup. And then in this cup, I did 5 ounces of the black epoxy resin. So we're going to scrape those out, and we are going to run it through the mini mixer. I love the mini mixer, guys. If you don't have it, that is definitely something you want to get on your radar, because I like the fact that you can control the speed. The only thing I wish is it had like a timer, like it would go off at 3 or 4 minutes. Because sometimes I get doing other things and then I forget. And I'm like, oh, it's been like 7 minutes mixing. Which doesn't hurt it. You're better off to overmix than undermix, but all right. So we're gonna put that in here. Wipe off my spatula here. And I do want to get that off of the outside edge because I don't want it getting into my cover. And then you just put this on. It fits right on. And you just turn your dial. So I go just a little bit over halfway, or about halfway. And I just let it go for, 3 or 4 minutes. depending on how much. Like this, I'll probably let it go for 4. Then I will divide it back up into my cups, remix it so that anything that's not mixed in these cups will get mixed into the resin to make sure that everything is will cure properly. And then I will run it through the Let's Resin debubbler, and then we'll be back. Okay, guys, so I put a little bit in there of this being in the debubbler so that you can see it. All right, so let me get, so basically I divided these into 3 different cups just to make sure that it could go through the debubbler without an issue. All right, so this one has got 3.5 ounces in it, and this says 4.6 ounces. So I'm gonna pour this to the 5. Just under the 5. And let's go ahead and get this. And I'm not going to top them off here because I'm going to move them. And I want to be able to have enough room, you know, to be able to move them over on my curing bench. So I'm just squeezing. Make sure we got all where the eyes and stuff is, the face features. And I'm gonna stop about there so we can get the arms. And because there's all this detail in the front, and then I want to make sure that there's no Klingon bubbles in there. All right, so I'm just gonna move this to the side so I don't knock it over, because like I said, I want to be able to move these, because if not, I'm not going to be able to do another project or start one. And I definitely want to do that today. So, all right, so we got about an ounce there. We've got, let's see, this is almost 4 in here. So I'm going to do the same thing, because we got the eyes, we have his teeth, and then we've got all the ribs and all the details. So I'm going to squeeze those areas. So I'm going to try to stop like at the head. Stop just beyond the hands and do the same thing. And normally you'd be able to see the bubbles, but because I use the Chameleon powders and the flakes, you really can't tell if there are any bubbles. So you just have to hope and pray that there are none. All right, so I'm gonna stop him there too. I'm just gonna lean him up on that box. Let me get, I want to get one sword, and then I'll top these off just to make sure, you know, that I have enough. Because I want them to be topped off, but I want at least one of these swords, axes, machetes, whatever they're called. I'm just going to help it. And I have a big spatula that I can move that over to my curing table too. So, get these up a little bit more. I can't go too much more than that because I won't be able to move it. All right, so I'm going to have enough in here to finish that. So I will get that filled. I'll finish filling these, and then I will be back on demold, and we will make these cute little critters. Alrighty, guys. These are all nice and cured. They're still a little warm. So I ended up having, after I did the 4 thingy doings here, I did have enough. So I ended up using 3 different colors on the peacock. I ended up using the fairy green on the feathers, the deep blue on his top little thingy, and the, I think it was the magenta on, yeah, it was the plum on the body. Or no, maybe I used the purple. I don't know. We will see here when it comes out. And I did over pour just a smidge, which is not a big deal. We can just pull them right off. All right, are we ready to see? Oh, that came out so good. So you can see there is a little difference on the top. So let me grab my, let's see. So these are the Let's Resin Chrome markers, and this is the fine tip one. So we're just gonna kind of accent the crown, and these little, so I ended up using the, it was the fairy green, but it's like a gold. So I do like doing these with the stones in it, but because it was like a last minute, and I did get a few little bubbles in this one because I didn't take my little pokey stick and you know, go into all them little grooves, but look at how cute that is. And I'm just going to use the black, and we're going to just do this little beak. And we're going to give it an eye. So I don't know if you can see it or not, but that's our little peacock. I think she came out adorable. All right, so Put that away for now. All right, let's get the knives out first. And they're still going to be a little bendy because they're so thin, but oh, those came out so cool. There is one little line in that one. All right, this one we got a few little bubbles, but that's, you know, that's fine. Look at those. Those are amazing. I am going to have so much fun with this mold, guys. And this one, I got a few bubbles in here. And it's basically because I did not spray it with alcohol. And I didn't run my tool around the edges. So that's on me. That's not on the resin at all. All right, I'm gonna let them harden up before I start messing too much. Oh, that came out so good. Even though there's like a few little bubble, it's fine because it's like little nicks in the blades. So I do have two that are with no nicks. So we'll end up using that. Let me move that to the side. So let's see. I think this one here, yeah, this was the flake one. So, and I have a feeling these are going to be difficult to unmold. So I'm gonna get some alcohol squirted down in there, and then I'm gonna work it down to the head. And I've just got my finger, this is one of the ones that broke out really bad. I've just got that, so I'm trying to not get any alcohol or anything in there. So I'm just trying to get the suction broke, get that alcohol down in there enough. All right, so let's see if I can peel this back. Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh, guys. He is so stinking adorable. All right. Let's... So I'm just trying to peel those little, there we go. Oh my gosh, it is so stinking cute. All right, let's get him back the way he's supposed to go. Oh, I'm gonna be making these. I have an art walk coming up next Friday. I am going to be making a bunch of these. Look at this little guy. OMG. He's adorable. So this is the Chameleon Flakes. That is these ones here by Let's Resin. So remember, guys, I do have a discount code if anybody wants to get anything. And I have the website link for the US, Canada, and the UK. I'm finally figuring out how to work the platform. So, you know, I'm almost 62 and I'm just now starting to do this. So it's a learning curve for me, guys. It really, really is. all you youngins out there, you know, technology is your thing, and I'm still, I mean, I can use a computer, but I'm still limited. Only certain things I can do. All right, let's break the suction here. This guy is going to be adorable. All right, let's see if we can get him to peel down. Oh, I thought he was going to be more difficult, and he was easier. All right, I'm going to fix my molds. Oh my gosh. They're very, very similar, guys. Very similar, but, oh, I got one little bubble right on the bottom there, and yep, just that one. But oh my gosh, he's adorable. Okay, now this is the one that has the hand for, see how the hand is grooved right here? But we can't glue it in until it's hard. But look at, oh my gosh, he's adorable. All right, so let's get these guys finished. Gonna move my chair in closer. I can't work far away from my desk. All right, so, and I will have to trim the bottom. I'll just let them cool, and then I'll get my Dremel out. All right, I'm gonna try this big one. And these are my oil markers. And he's probably gonna need 2 coats. And then I'll take a micro brush and clean up the edges here in a second. Now, I don't even know, like, how these are supposed to look. You think I would have looked, right? Ahead of time. But where's the fun in that? All right, so we've got his ribs done. And I'm not gonna do like the traditional, you know. Let's see. Get his ribs front and back. Because you guys know I don't like to be like everyone else. I'm going to get them all colored in with this white. Oh, we got one little bubble there, but we can fill it in with paint. And then I will clean up the edges. And get his little teeth in. Okay. So on this guy, I'm going to let that dry. And so I'm just going to go over these like high points. I don't think I shook it good the first time. And I think this one has white around its eyes. So you could use acrylic markers if you don't have the oil ones. I just find that the oil ones work better, at least the ones I've tried. So the other markers that I think work really good are metallic markers, but I don't have a white in the metallic. So that's why I'm using the oil ones. All right, so let's let that dry. And let's just get a second coat on these. Now, I could do this on a time lapse to save time, but I do have some people that are new to resin, and I know they like to see, you know, the whole process. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. And that way they will know, you know, what to do or what not to do according to my results. It really looks good when you can get a lot of paint to come out at one time. All right, so let me get these second coats all applied. Well, I want to show you how to clean it, so hang on. Let me get this front one done, and then I will show you how I go ahead and clean it, and then I will finish these, and then I'll be back. All right, this is the last little piece over here, guys. You know, and if I let these dry like an hour and then came back, it definitely would work better. But, you know, because I'm trying to finish this video. All right. So, let me get a couple of micro brushes and a couple of Q-tips. I'm going to get some alcohol, And we're just gonna get any paint off that we don't want. So I try to use like one for getting the paint off. You can also wipe it on a Q-tip. You know, you can use a second micro brush and just kind of go in and clean up as well. It's whatever works for you. You know, is how you're going to want to, it's going to take a little bit, you know, trial and error to see what works, what doesn't work. And then once, you know, everything is completely cured and dried, I'll just put a spray sealer over the top. And that's how I clean them up. So it's really easy. And if you get too much on your brush, just stick it in the alcohol and wipe it on a paper towel. And that way you're not using a bunch of, you know, micro brushes. If you can get a few uses out of one. I have to fill my alcohol thing up again. Wipe it off, and then we'll come back. And then I'll just go in between his teeth on that lip. Yeah. So I don't know what I want to do with the rest of them. So I do got to clean up the back. So let me finish these up and then I will be right back. Okay. So I pretty much got them done. So this is our little guy. So what I did is, you can't really see it, but I put black on the ends of his toes, on his fingers. And then I just went through the ribs with my black marker. He needs another coat of white, but that's what he's looking like so far. And then this little dude, yeah. So I did the same thing. I went around the hood with black to give it that darkness. I darkened in the nose. I did that on him too. I darkened his belt. I do want to put a buckle on. I do need my chrome. That's that. I need the fine right here. So I just want to give this little buckle. Just to make his belt stand out. And then I just put a little bit of black up on the sword. And once this is firm, then I'm going to put this in his hand. I'm going to try to get it in there just so that you guys can see what he's going to look like with his little sword. There he is. Isn't he cute? So I will get some close-up pictures and let me know in the comments what you think. What I was kind of thinking about maybe putting gems in the eyes, but I think it would take away from it. So yeah, that's my little dudes. Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much, Let's Resin, for sending these to me. I so appreciate it. I'm going to have a lot of fun doing this for sure. I might end up painting this backside once this is firm, but I will try to get some pictures. And then, like I said, I will sand these down once it's fully hard, but yeah. Alrighty, guys. These are going to be so much fun. Okay, guys. Bye.